Assalamualaikum, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to try to do something which has not been done actually by any retail investor in Saudi Arabia, which is a complete, transparent look into my personal portfolio. This is just to make sure that I am walking the talk. So, just to give you the comfort that I share knowledge of what I am myself am interested in, not something like randomly studying something and doing something else, right? The real main reason for me to do this is also to increase the financial literacy and transparency for the in Saudi Arabia. I recently read a report from Sama which mentioned that the Saudi literacy financial literacy is less than 30 percentage amongst the youths, and this is because it's still a taboo amongst friends, co-workers to share their knowledge of how, what are they investing in, how are they investing in, right? So my belief is that by opening up my portfolio, I hope to inspire others to start their own journey, make informed decisions. Do your own research, of course. Don't just try to do what others are doing. I also read a recent report from Argam which mentioned that the number of retail investors are on the rise, right? Both male and female investors, as well as the portfolio size is also increasing from 7.7 million riyals in 2013 to now 11.45 billion riyals. My goal is to do this every 6 months. So this is my 2024 first half portfolio review, and I'll be doing this every June and December, hopefully, inshallah. Right? Before we get into the details, right? One thing is a must for you to understand is my own characteristics. Who am I? Right? What is my goal? What is my my focus, right? That's very important because you cannot just copy anyone randomly, right? You need to understand my thinking, my characteristics is what I call that, right? Number one is that I'm not a big HNI or like a big retail investor, right? I'm a Saudi expat who believe in the vision 2030. I know that the next few years easily a lot of things are going to happen based on what I'm seeing, right? From the last 3 years of living here in Riyadh, seeing a lot of things happening so fast paced. The people who I work with, the youths of this generation, it's amazing, right? Their passion, their focus, their dreams, it's great to know that. Second thing, I'm a employee, salaried employee, right? Which means that I do not have any, I only have regular incomes. I'm not running like a business which is like huge chunks of money at times. I have a regular income. I have a very busy work schedule, which means that I do not have a lot of time for trading, neither to watch stocks on a daily, hourly basis. I don't do that. I just do it once a week or once 2 weeks, once a month, and I just look around where the Tadawul stock exchange is heading. No individual stocks as well for me. I only do REITs, ETF, mutual funds, because I'm not yet comfortable. I'm still trying to learn things. It's only been 11 months, right? So, what is my goal? My goal at the moment is only capital preservation and dividend income. Okay, so a lot of you might be looking for like capital appreciation or growth, which is like finding the 3x, 5x bagger stocks. I'm not currently looking for that because my main investment market is still India, right? Close to 95% of my portfolio is in India. So whenever I get a salary, I remit a major chunk to India for my main investments. Here, I typically keep on a monthly level, I keep 2,000 riyals, just for my Saudi investments. It's a small bet for me currently, but it's going to grow. Another reason for me to only focus on ETFs, index, REITs, etc., is I still don't think that Saudi is the right market to find these big uh, baggers unless you are like a proficient trader who has a lot of time to just research and do stuff. If you're a passive investor, retail investor, I don't yet think that this is the right market. And let me tell you why I think this, right? So look at the STC story over the last 20 years. STC is one of the biggest telecom companies in this whole region, also, right? So this has been like going from 28 to had a peak in 2006, came back lowest in 2012, close to 16, and then it has been growing. It has been consistently growing to close to 55, and then it has come down to 38. So what I'm trying to say is like there's a lot of volatility in this market. There's a lot of big players who push the market up and down. So as small retail investors, it's very difficult for you to time the markets, right? It's not like long term investing is going to help you find baggers, because that's not what I'm seeing, at least in STC. Another big company is for me the Sabic Agri Nutrients, right? It's another major company. And here also I'm seeing the same trend, right? Which is like it goes up, term comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down. So there's not like long term investing is giving me those baggers. Because if I were to compare this to, let's say, HUL, Hindustan Unilever, which is like a huge, large cap company in India, you see this, right? There's an exponential growth over the long term. So I can believe that by investing for 20 25 years, I'm seeing a growth. I'm seeing like 20x bagger, 100x bagger companies, right? But in Saudi, it's very rare. Similar was like Microsoft, right? Again, exponential. Like this clearly shows that over long term investing, it's giving me baggers, multi baggers, right? Which I'm not seeing in Saudi yet, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not someone who's going for individual stocks. I rather prefer on the index things, right? Okay, let's deep dive into the heart of this, right? So currently, I have invested in three main securities. Number one is the MT30 ETF, which I have already, in my, I think that was my second or third video last year. Very detailed. I explained what it is, what it tracks, why I do this, etc. The second one is the Saudi Growth ETF. I've not covered this as a separate video, but I'll explain to you why I do this one. And the third is the alrajhi, which I've also covered, right? Which is more of a passive income source for me, like a dividend that I'm looking from there. This is my current portfolio split. Close to 40% is going into the MT30 ETF, then 30% each to Saudi Growth and alrajhi REIT. Right. My target by end of this year is to have close to 60-65% into the MT30 ETF. And the remaining 20% to alrajhi REIT and 15% into the Saudi Growth. So why did I choose these three? The most important question, right, which you might be having. Let's start with number one, the MT30 MSCI Tadawul Index. I've already explained this in my video, so please check that video out. Right, that explains what this ETF does, what are the components of this, etc. I'll show you the. For me, this is like the lowest or the safest bet, the lowest risk security in my three. Amongst the three, this is the lowest. This is how the trend looks like. I started investing close to the second half of 2023, so I've been investing around this 44 mark, and now it's 46. So not a lot of growth has happened here. But why I believe in this one is like if I were to compare the MT30 ETF with the Tadawul All Share Index, the TASI, which gives you a view of the Saudi economy. This is telling me that it's replicating the same. Both the light blue and the dark blue are both exactly the same, which means that if I'm someone who's betting on the Saudi economy to grow, MSA 30, MT30 is all that it needs, because that's covering almost 80% of the market cap of the Tadawul Stock Exchange, because that's the top 30 largest listed companies. So it has all the Aramco's, STC, all the big players in it. So that's almost there, right? So the main point I'm trying to bring is like, if you're someone who is betting on the Saudi economy, who wants to be part, but at the same time also is not someone who is like a trader, or who's like a research analyst who knows how to invest in individual stocks. This is all that you need. MT30. If Saudi is going to grow, Tadawul's all share index is going to grow, and if that's going to grow, MT30 is also going to grow. Period. Right. The second instrument, security, was the Saudi Growth ETF, right? So the first one was more on the large cap. This one is the ETF on the mid cap and small cap companies. So this is recently launched by Bank Al Bilad. So for me, this is like a high risk instrument, right, in my portfolio, and therefore, slowly I want to have this as a smaller component, because this will be very volatile, right, as compared to the rest. So this is an active ETF, I would say, which means that there's few set of researchers, managers who are churning this portfolio every quarter, every month. So they research, okay, these are the best mid cap, small cap companies to have in my portfolio based on the future potentials, and then they keep changing that portfolio, right? So today, as of today, the latest, it has Savola, which is the Almarai family group, Saudi Ceramic, Middle East Pipes, National Gas, Saudi Aramco Base Oil, Saudi Steel Pipe, Herfi Foods. So it has a mix of insurance, mainly retail consumption chunks in this category, right? So even on the graph, you'll see that this has been quite volatile. It really started this year, so not a lot of historical data, but this has been like going from 10 to 12 and coming down to 10 and all that. I started investing again around April, May, June. So I've been averaging a bit, kind of like a real cost averaging. So I bought few in 11, I bought something in at 10, etc. etc. So I'll show you my actual numbers as well. And then the third one is the alrajhi REIT. I've already done like a detailed video of how I've already started, earning close to uh, 50 riyals per month basis, like cumulative. If I were to, it's quarterly paid dividend income. So if I were to divide that by 12 and all that, I roughly 50 based on the current units that I have. This for me is like a medium risk investment, because for me this is like more focused on the passive income, right? I believe in the Saudi real estate, right? I think it's going to grow, so there's a huge demand for residential, huge demand for corporate that's going to come, but there's also a lot of land, there's also a lot of supply, no doubt. If I were to see the historical graph, it peaked around 2022, and then it has always been declining. So I started investing in from 2023 onwards, so I've been purchasing at the lower side of 8.5 and all. So I'm expecting that there will be like an increase, hoping, right? But that's more to do more with my macroeconomic guess, because fundamentally it's logical to see that the real estate is only going to increase here, right? A lot of demand is going to come here. And if I were to compare this to the Tadawul real estate or REITs index, right, which covers all the REITs, it has also been mirroring the same, right? So it's not like only this alrajhi REIT has been going down. Almost all the REITs, the overall index has also been beating, over the last few years. So I am seeing like an uptick from here, right? So that's my theory. So as a recap of my three securities, one ETF has been majorly on the large cap, right? So I'm betting on the overall Saudi economy. So therefore, MT30 was the best bet for me. Then I'm betting on the mid cap and small cap, which is like the real ones, which grows and falls quite aggressively. And the third is my betting on the real estate industry, the booming residential and corporate ones, which is where the alrajhi REIT kicks in. Okay, so how and when do I invest, right? Which is another important thing to share with you all, right? Before that, one major characteristic of good long-term investors is they follow a specific formula. That is, salary minus something is equal to something. If you know what this formula is, write it in the comment section. I just want to check. However, so what I do is like a manual systematic investment plan, right? So what, as I mentioned earlier, I keep aside close to 2,000 riyals on a monthly basis, transfer it from my SAB bank to my SAB invest account, which I shared in my previous video. How do I do that? Then what I do is typically within the first 5 days of the month, I purchase 15 to 20 units of MT30 ETF, so close to 900 riyals goes there. Then I spend close to 500 riyals on the alrajhi REIT and the Saudi growth ETF. Right, slowly I'll try to update this in a way that I have more of MT30 ETF in my portfolio, close to 65% as a. So what has, in terms of performance, how does this look like, right? So I have close to 8,800 riyals in the MT30, 7,500 riyals in the Saudi growth ETF, and 6,800 riyals in the alrajhi REIT, right? So close to 190 units of the MT30, 670 units of the Saudi growth ETF, and 800 units of the alrajhi REIT. So 800 units will roughly give me close to 350 riyals as dividend income. And if I were to compare this 3% to the Tadawul All Share Index, right, like this, so the Tadawul All Share Index also over the last 1 year has grown only by 2.36%. So in a way, I'm very close to what the overall index is also performing. So I won't say I've beaten the index, but I'm very close to the index itself, right? So I'm happy, but I'm hoping that there will be more upticks, more positives in the coming times. On top of this, I have the dividend income, which I detailed out in the other video, right? So I have received so far 150 riyals based on the number of units back then, right? So around around December, I had 32.5 riyals. Then on in February, I received 49 riyals. Then in May, I received 75 riyals, because more and more units I was starting to gather. So now I have close to 800 units, right? So I might get close to, I mean, typically we get around 0.1213 riyals per unit on a quarterly basis. So what's next on my portfolio? Uh, I I do have, I covered in my last video, right, which was Joel's magic formula, which was trying to identify fundamentally strong companies, individual companies in the stock exchange. And I liked really Nadi and Nadi Medical and Jarir Bookstore. I have not started investing in them. I've put it in my watch list. On top of that, there is one more ETF I found out recently, uh, which looks like this, and it will further help me diversify my portfolio geographically. If you understand what that means, and if you understood what this ETF is, comment this also in the section below. I'll be very soon deep diving into this ETF as well in my next video. If you have been little bit motivated by this, and if you are also comfortable, please do share what you are investing in, what you have been following up in the recent times. Share it in the comment section. Would be also great to learn from you, from each one of you as well, right? So net my conclude my just concluding, I just encourage that start your own journey, even small steps. Hope you like this video. Please do share. So please do share, please do like and subscribe to my channel. That also helps me and motivates me. Thank you so much.